Why do 65% of the world's adults check their phones before getting out of bed? What if tomorrow every phone was just a brick? This is the world. 24 hours, no internet. It starts with confusion. Phones freeze, social feeds spin endlessly, you tap, you swipe, nothing. Panic ripples through cities. Banks shut their virtual doors. Payments decline. Flights grounded. No online bookings, no navigation, air traffic in chaos. Businesses grind to a halt. Hospitals scramble. Digital records vanish, schools close. Students stare at blank screens. Stock markets paralyzed. Billions lost in seconds. No cloud, no maps, no streaming. Families can't message. News anchors stumble. No headlines, no updates. Server rooms glow in darkness. Tech teams race to nowhere. Cities slow. Streets fill with confused crowds. The world unplugged, all in just 24 hours. But here's the real question. Could humanity survive without the internet, even for just one day?
It begins quietly, almost without notice. Here, in this sprawling urban ecosystem, a new day dawns on April 20th, 2026. The sun rises, casting long shadows across the concrete canyons. But, something is amiss. In millions of homes, a familiar ritual is interrupted. A hand reaches for a smartphone, the digital oracle of our modern age. The screen illuminates, but it offers no comfort. A simple, stark message appears. No signal. The gateway to the world, once ever present in the palm of a hand, has vanished. A silent, invisible barrier has descended. The first moments are filled with simple confusion, a minor annoyance. Maybe the Wi-Fi router needs a restart. Perhaps the cellular network is temporarily down in the area. People tap and swipe, their thumbs performing a useless dance on cold glass. They move from room to room, holding their devices aloft as if seeking a lost signal from the heavens. But the silence persists. The endless scroll of news, the river of social updates, the morning's emails, all have run dry. It is a strange and unfamiliar quiet, a digital void that begins to echo in the physical world. This phenomenon is not isolated. Across continents and time zones, the same scene repeats itself. In bustling apartments in Tokyo, in quiet suburban homes in Ohio, in remote villages in the Scottish Highlands, the connection is severed. The intricate web that binds our species, woven from light and code, has snapped. The initial frustration slowly gives way to a dawning unease. It's a feeling that something fundamental, something we have taken for granted, has been taken away. The world outside the window looks the same, yet it feels profoundly different. The digital silence is absolute. Apps refuse to load, the icons frozen in a state of suspended animation. Smart speakers, once ready to answer any question, stand mute. The television, programmed to stream the morning news, displays only an error message. A profound sense of isolation begins to creep in. We are, for the first time in a generation, truly alone with our immediate surroundings. The global village has been dismantled, leaving behind billions of disconnected tribes, each confined to its own small, quiet island of reality. As the morning progresses, the individual confusion coalesces into a collective bewilderment. People spill out onto the streets, their faces etched with a mixture of curiosity and anxiety. They hold their phones, now little more than expensive paperweights, and look to their neighbors for answers. In offices, keyboards clatter uselessly. Screens that once displayed a universe of data are now dark mirrors, reflecting the perplexed faces of the workers who stare into them. The hum of productivity has been replaced by a murmur of speculation and concern. The invisible infrastructure of our society has failed. The problem is not with the devices themselves, but with the network that gives them purpose. In coffee shops, patrons stare at each other over silent tables, the usual digital barriers having crumbled. On public transport, commuters look up from their laps, their gazes meeting for the first time in years. The shared experience of this digital blackout forges a strange, unspoken bond. Everyone is in this together, yet no one knows what this truly is. The planet has been unplugged. The scope of the event is staggering. It is a silent, global catastrophe unfolding in real time. News, the lifeblood of a connected world, becomes a scarce commodity. Without the internet, journalists cannot file stories, and broadcasters cannot receive them. The television only shows local, pre-recorded content, or, in some cases, static. Radio, the old and forgotten medium, experiences a sudden resurgence. Crackling voices emerge from the airwaves, offering fragmented reports and unconfirmed theories. The world has been plunged into an information fog. The visual evidence of this shutdown is both dramatic and eerie. Deep beneath the oceans, the fiber optic cables that carry the world's data lie dormant, their usual pulses of light extinguished. In vast, windowless data centers, rows upon rows of servers stand silent, their blinking lights dark for the first time since their inception. The digital heart of our civilization has stopped beating. From space, the planet still glows with the lights of its cities, but down on the surface, a different kind of darkness is spreading. The consequences of this digital drought ripple through every sector of society, bringing the engine of the 21st century to a grinding halt. Commerce, which now flows primarily through digital channels, seizes up. Bank doors are shuttered, and ATMs refuse to dispense cash, their screens displaying cryptic error codes. The global financial system, a complex dance of algorithms and high-frequency trades, is frozen in place. The very concept of money, so often an abstract number on a screen, becomes a tangible and urgent problem. Without cash, the simplest transactions become impossible. The intricate ballet of global logistics falls apart. Delivery trucks sit idle in depots, their routes and destinations locked away on inaccessible servers. At ports, giant container ships wait for instructions that will never arrive. The promise of next-day delivery, a cornerstone of modern convenience, is broken. Supermarket shelves, normally restocked with clockwork precision by automated systems, begin to empty. The fragility of our just-in-time supply chains is laid bare for all to see. We are a species that has forgotten how to wait. Travel becomes a journey back in time. Airports descend into chaos as digital ticketing and air traffic control systems fail. Flights are grounded indefinitely, stranding millions of travelers far from home. Trains and buses face similar challenges, relying on manual systems that are slow and inefficient. The freedom of movement we have come to expect has been revoked. The world suddenly feels much larger, its distant corners once again separated by impassable gulfs of time and space. The global citizen is once again a local villager. Workplaces, especially those in the knowledge economy, are rendered inert. The modern office is a ghost town of dormant technology. Without access to cloud documents, email, or collaborative software, productivity plummets. The very idea of work for millions of people is so intertwined with the internet that its absence creates a vacuum. The tools that were meant to empower us have, in their absence, revealed themselves to be a crutch we can no longer stand without. Our reliance has become our vulnerability. Yet, amidst all the confusion and disruption, a remarkable thing happens. The human species, ever adaptable, begins to adjust. Faced with silence, we rediscover our voice. The telephone, this seemingly ancient technology, suddenly becomes a vital lifeline. Landlines, which had been long neglected in favor of mobile devices, ring with renewed purpose. People call their family, their friends, their colleagues. They check in, they share information, they offer reassurance. The conversations are simpler, more direct, stripped of all the emojis and acronyms of digital speak. The need for connection, honestly, drives people together in the physical world. Instead of texting, neighbors knock on doors. Instead of video conferencing, colleagues gather around tables in meeting rooms, armed with just pens and paper. In city parks and public squares, strangers strike up conversations, sharing rumors and trading stories. A sense of community, often diluted by the vastness of online social networks, re-emerges on a local, human scale. We are, for once, forced to look up from our screens and see the faces of those around us. Ingenuity really flourishes in the face of limitation. Communities organize impromptu information boards in town centers, pinning up handwritten notes with news and updates. Local radio stations become the central hubs of communication, broadcasting public service announcements and messages from listeners. People begin to rely on older, more resilient systems. They pay for goods with the cash they have on hand, or they barter. Maybe a baker trades a loaf of bread for a handful of fresh vegetables from a neighbor's garden. The rhythm of life, it just slows down. Without the constant stream of notifications and the pressure to be always available, time itself seems to stretch. People read physical books, play board games, and simply talk to one another. The frantic pace of the digital age is replaced by a more deliberate, more mindful existence. There's, oddly enough, a strange sense of liberation in this enforced simplicity. For a brief moment, the world is free from the relentless demands of the online world, and we are free to simply be present in the moment. As the 24-hour period draws to a close, a sense of anticipation really hangs in the air. The world holds its breath, just waiting for the digital pulse to return. And then, as quietly as it vanished, it comes back. A phone chimes with a notification. A Wi-Fi symbol reappears. A screen flickers to life, displaying a familiar newsfeed. The web is rewoven, the connections restored. The great global silence is over, replaced by a deafening roar of data. The world, it seems, can finally exhale. The return to normalcy is swift, but something has changed. The experience has left an indelible mark on the collective psyche. We have glimpsed a world without the internet, and it was both terrifying and revealing. The convenience and efficiency of our connected lives are thrown into sharp relief, but so too is our profound dependence. The digital tools we have built are powerful, but they are also fragile. We have constructed this magnificent gleaming tower of technology, but its foundations are not as solid as we once believed. This event, honestly, serves as a cinematic reality check, a global dress rehearsal for a crisis we never knew we needed to prepare for. It forces us to confront difficult questions about the society we have built. What is the value of a connection if it is entirely virtual? What do we lose when we trade face-to-face interaction for digital communication? The internet is, without a doubt, one of humanity's greatest achievements, a testament to our ingenuity and our desire to connect. But really, what does it mean to be connected? As the digital tide rushes back in, filling every corner of our lives once more, we are left to ponder its meaning. The 24-hour blackout was not just a technical failure, it was a philosophical one. It was a brief, stark reminder that the most important networks are not made of fiber and code, but of flesh and blood. It showed us that, for all our technological prowess, the most fundamental human need is to connect, not just online, but with the world and the people right in front of us. And that is a connection no outage can ever